What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Welcome back to the podcast. We know it's been a little bit, but time and everything. Sometimes it's hard to film in the summer because we have so many summer activities going on, and then school started back. But we're here, and as you can tell, we have an inside little studio, if you'd like to call it.
Way better setup.
It's really just my room. We got a better setup. If you saw the intro, it's way better. We're making it better than ever. We're going to try to do it all the time. Made my availability at work slim down some since the summer because I know that it was a lot in the summer. So, we have this going on all the time. We're going to try to get one out to every 2 weeks. Hopefully
every weekend.
Hopefully every weekend, something like that. But is there anything you want to talk specifically about? We were gonna put points because we know sometimes it's hard to follow when we don't have our set points. But is there anything specifically you want to talk about?
Let's talk about what has happened since the last podcast. Like just starting
a lot. So we tried to do an episode and get it out to you guys, and it was in Harris's truck. And there was some music in the background. We got copyright struck.
I tried to play Christian music.
It was Christian music, which, understandable. They want to make their money. We're not trying to steal their money from them. But after that, we kind of were just like, we want to make them, but we don't have the time. When we would do it, we'd be in his truck, and then there'd be music in the background. And then all this stuff, we didn't have a set place. But then I kind of revamped my room. Made it a little better
setup.
We got a better setup. Maybe we'll be able to do this in here a lot. I don't really know. We might not be able to.
Hopefully.
This is going to be helpful because before it was hard to be like, we got wind, we can't do it outside.
Yeah.
Or
we got cicadas.
We're in Harris's truck because we got cicadas hitting us in the face. Then when we're in his truck, we have music, and then we get copyright struck. It was like one thing after another, and then it kind of just went into this spiral of summer activities, let's just have fun, and then we kind of just forgot about it a little bit. And then it was weird because me and Harris both, it was about the same day, we text each other and we were like,
we gotta get the podcast.
I've been thinking about this lately.
Get the podcast
what's going on? I've been thinking about it lately, and he said his preacher had a whole sermon about for a purpose, and that it kind of just kicked in his brain. It's like, well, why aren't we doing this? We're all built for a purpose, and we felt called to this. Why are we not doing this anymore? So, would you like to share a little bit of what he said that really made it click for you?
Yeah, in Bible study and in the mornings we have Bible school, Bible study, Sunday school type thing, and we start a new study, and it's for a purpose. And I don't know if y'all do this, but the books of Genesis, company type stuff, I think that's their name, but we use that. And so that, once our teacher read the title, I was like, dang, that was our podcast name. That we got to start that back. I remember all the good things that happened while we had the podcast, and I was like, we got to start that back.
It was truly amazing, and I don't really know. I don't know what it was that just blocked it from our minds. It was weird because it was one day we were like, hey, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do daily verses, and then all of a sudden it was just boom.
Life.
Is that a thing anymore?
Yeah.
But then Harris hit me with the text, and I'm like, I was thinking about that yesterday. So I kicked it up. We got this new setup in here. We got the new mics. The new mics might be a little bit better. They don't look as good as when we had them in our hands, but they might sound better. I know before.
Better quality.
I know before our audio was kind of
the wind.
Trash.
The wind.
It was the wind. And then also one of the microphones, I realized in the video where I was talking about Good Friday, it just completely sucked. You had to turn up the volume to hear what I was saying. You could hear clearly what I was saying. Your volume had to be turned all the way up. I don't know. But we have better equipment, better intro, new design to our logo.
Better.
Shoot.
Yes, sir.
Better. We're back. We're better than ever. Before we talked about Christian movies. And there's a new Christian movie out, and my parents said, you and Harris need to go watch this together. It's about baptism and this man and this kid getting saved. He's close to y'all's age in the movie. Ooh. It's like hard-hitting stuff. And my dad was like, I was weeping in it. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which, if you know my dad, that's not really like a surprise thing.
He's not a weeper.
He is when it comes to certain movies and stuff. But like, he said, really, this is hard-hitting. You and Harris need to go see this. And we're going to plan a time to go do that and then kind of do a review of it. It's called The Forge, I think. And it's made.
I'm not even gonna watch the trailer.
It's made by the same company as Fireproof, Courageous, War Room. You know, some of those movies. Yeah. And if you know anything about that company, I think it's something Brothers. I don't remember their name. But if you know anything about those movies, they started out. It was just like basically like a project for their community, and they started making those movies. And then as it went up, their community started giving them more and more money to make more and more movies. And then they got Kirk Cameron on Fireproof, and I think it's just built up since then. They've got bigger budgets, bigger stuff, and it's just amazing how people can thrive like that. I've really learned that too through social media. I kind of went on this journey. Like, I forgot about the podcast, but I was still like, you know, I feel bad just being on TikTok all the time. I wonder if I can turn my TikTok fully Christian. And more recently, I've seen it. So what I did, I put it on restricted mode. I restarted my For You page. Mm-hmm. I filtered through who I followed because some of them weren't that good. Some of them were a bunch of cussing and like bad jokes, all this stuff. I filtered through who I followed. I mostly just follow my friends and some Christian influencers and stuff like that. Like, I forgot his last name, but you might have seen clips from Cliff. Mm-hmm. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah. Like, he goes to the colleges, he speaks. And then Bryce Crawford. Yeah. If you know Bryce Crawford, his story really resonated with me. Like, just in your own time, if you want to go look up Bryce Crawford's testimony, it like really resonated with me. Not like, some details are different, but like a lot of those were like, oh, I feel the blame, I feel this, I feel that. And then like, more recently I figured out that you can like say that you're not interested in certain content. Mm-hmm. So when I see something that's not necessarily good, I like, not interested. And I was like, I don't care if it's back to back. I'm not interested. Yeah. And like, within you telling me that we need to start up the podcast, it was like crazy timing though, because it was like from the day you text me to now, it went from bad stuff on my TikTok to like every scroll is Cliff. Every scroll is like, every scroll is Bryce. I'm like, there's gotta be a connection here. There's no way. Yeah. It's between when you text me on like Saturday or Sunday, mm-hmm. It can't. And then it started today just being those kind of influencers. Yeah. So it's like a crazy thing. It's like, well, maybe this is my calling. Maybe I need to do more of this, because I really felt called when I first started seeing Bryce's content. He said that he had a dream one time, and it was his grandmother in his dream, and she said, you need to go talk to that man at the table. And it was a guy sitting at the table, and he said he recognized him because he was in the news for being a missionary that had visited everywhere in the world. Whoa. He just went to everywhere in the world. And when he went over to sit and talk to the guy at the table, the guy said, well, there's no need to travel when you can stay in your backyard. Mm. He said there's just as many people that don't know in your own backyard than across the world. So then he just started going out, talking to these people on the street, people that are hurt, people that are need healing, people that are homeless and don't have a home, people that don't have a family, people that are broken or have been broken, stuff like that. And it really touched me, and I was like, well, I really want to do that. And that's kind of why I bought these mics. So if you'd like to see content like that of me and him on the street, me and him in Walmart, me and him talking to real people about this stuff, because I know it's hard sometimes for us to just speak at the camera and be like, you guys, this is an experience I went through, or this is an experience that I saw, or something like that. And you're like, well, how can you really? So we might do something like that out on the street, talking to real people, asking them their opinions, asking what they know, and then kind of compare it to what we know and tell them, try to guide them. But I don't really know as far as like I haven't spoke much to you about this.
We need y'all's thoughts.
We need y'all's thoughts. Again, like I said, there's an email. We haven't had many people respond to our emails. I know it's hard to just like, hey, random person, I need this from you, or I need you to pray for me about this. I know you don't know me, but we have an email specifically for that. We like to turn the comments off just so then people aren't judgy about, hey, you did this now, you want to be prayed for that, or you're not perfect, blah, 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 blah. So we have an email specifically for that. We made it for this channel. I'll put it in the description if you need to be prayed for, or if you have any ideas or any mission type deals that you think we should do. Like, I think one day we need to go and buy Bibles and then donate them to this one organization that my church helps with. Like, it's stuff like that, like little things. But if you'd like to see stuff like that, that's more like real people instead of us just talking to the camera, which, I mean, this is a podcast, so we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
But we can also do all kinds of other content.
But it's also YouTube.
We can also do all kinds of other content, like face to face with other people.
Yeah.
Doing little Christian games, little stuff like that. So if you'd like to see any of that, there's that email.
And special guests.
And special guests, yes. So we have friends that have like told us that they're interested. I have some other people, I don't know if they really know about this, but that I have a feeling that they'd be like perfect for this.
Mm-hmm.
So just let us know about those too. If you have any good guests, I mean, I don't know if it'd be possible to get like Cliff on here for the third episode or fourth episode.
Maybe.
Fourth episode at this point, I think. I don't think it'd be possible for that quite yet, or for Bryce quite yet. I know he's closer in age, so it might be a little easier, but not for like the fourth episode.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him on here, and I'd love to speak to George Janko, but that we're on steps. We're on a step stool right now, so we'll start with kind of the people that we know, and then as we build up, hopefully we can get better, interesting, not better, you know what I mean? Like
more stories,
higher up, great stories, people that you see already, and you know. But what's another thing that we were talking about that we wanted to have on here? I think a lot of it was time.
That was probably really loud.
That's a good one. I sent you one today, a TikTok today. It was Billy Graham, and you said something about that. Yes. Yeah, he's gonna look. He's gonna cheat a little bit because, you know, we're high schoolers, been in high school all day, so it's a little hard for our brains to comprehend what we think sometimes. If that makes any sense. Let's see what it was. Because you said something about.
Was it one of these three?
Let's see where it is. It was the one. Let me see here. Well, what do you say?
Mine delete. So
Here's delete.
yeah, like I don't even.
It is this one, I think.
Okay. Hopefully. Yeah, this does say Billy Graham.
Yeah.
Deep in sin you've been, God is in the forgiving business because of what Christ did on the cross.
Yes.
I'm not going to heaven because I'm good. I'm not going to heaven because I've preached to thousands of people. I'm going to heaven like anybody else by the way of the cross, where Christ died for me. Repentance means that you change your mind about God, about yourself, and about your need. It means that you're saying to God, I'm willing to change my way of living and turn from sin and start on the narrow road. You won't be perfect, but Christ will be there in the person of the Holy Spirit to help you to live the life of a follower of Christ. You cannot live it alone. No matter what you're...
I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it really hit hard for me and him. I saw it earlier, and I don't know what it was. Part of me was like, Harris needs to see this, and then it, like, I'm telling you, it's weird, the TikTok connections, because part of me was like, Harris needs to see this, and then it did one of those auto things where it was like, send to Harris. Like, I was like, yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird, and it kept doing that with different videos, and I was like, this is really cool. It really, I think it helps a partnership like this, because this is a partnership. Like, I mostly run the technical stuff with the channel, but Harris does
not that smart.
Harris does just as much as I do when it comes to the thoughts, because he has hit some heavy hitter thoughts on here that I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. So I think that really just helps when it's crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
There a verse of the day that we would like to share something? I don't really know. We didn't write down notes. We should have wrote down notes.
The verse of the day comes from Philippians 1:9-10. It says, I pray that your love will overflow more and more, and that you will keep on growing in knowledge and understanding. For I want you to understand what really matters, so that you may live pure and blameless lives until the day of Christ's return. That hits.
That hits. And the one from yesterday hit too. It was about anxiety or something. Mm-hmm. I don't really remember it exactly,
but I screenshot that one.
If you want to go see what that was, it should be in our shorts feed. I've started those back up. I know some of you guys really liked when I do the daily verses because, I don't know.
Was it this one?
I know you guys just really loved it.
I think this was yesterday's.
It might have been.
Yesterday's was, we think, Psalms 94:19. It says, when doubts fill my mind, your comfort gives me renewed hope and cheer.
Yeah. So, I'm started back up with daily verses. I was on a streak there, and then, like we said, we kind of spun out, lost it. So
we're thinking about making a TikTok, maybe, just for like.
We might make a TikTok for content like this. If not,
so we can both get on there and share the account, basically.
Yes, we're thinking about doing that, but until then, or until we've like officially made a TikTok for it, I'll be posting clips from this kind of stuff on my personal TikTok. It's at Crazy Boy Will, and it should be a profile picture of me looking like this. But
of course,
yeah. But we'll keep you guys updated about stuff like that. Is there anything else? I mean, this is kind of short compared to the other times because we didn't make notes.
We're just getting started.
We should have made notes. We're getting back in the hang of things. So
back to the Billy Graham video. So one day at my church we had a sermon, and we watched a video for the sermon, and it was some preacher, and he talked about how it's not your mind, it's your heart. And God, so all the many doctors that you go and see won't fix it. But the main surgeon is God. And like everybody that accepts Christ basically gets like a heart operation.
Yeah.
And at the end of the video, like the dude, like it was like just an example, but there was a guy that like woke up and like nothing in his life went right. Like he wasn't happy. He wasn't anything, but like he just kept going to like a psychiatrist type thing, and and the dude was like, I want you to go see Dr. Sin, and it talked about like all of like the things people think are good, but like are really like not full-hearted love type stuff, and then he was like, I'm not normal, I'm not happy. And then he was like, I want you to go see Dr. whatever. And then at the end, it was like he like was sleeping, and then like he was just like praying like, Lord, like he believed in God, but like he didn't want to like you know how people are, like they don't want to like admit they're bad.
Admit it. Yeah. Almost like God's not dead, the teacher in that. It almost also kind of reminds me of like the talk that I had to do for my youth retreat thing. Mm-hmm. So my youth pastor, he comes to me and he goes, I feel like this talk is like perfect for you. And it was about baptism, but then when I got to reading about like how you're supposed to write it, you were supposed to compare yourself to Jesus's baptism. I'm like, well, I'm nowhere near that. Mm-hmm. I'm nowhere near that. But then as I got to reading and stuff, it's like, well, he went through the same things that you're going through. It's crazy to think about it because he was a perfect human, mm-hmm. but there was one point that I made in there that I really liked, and Like, I don't want to say that about myself, like, oh, look at me, look at the point that I made, it's so good. But there was a point in there, and I found it, and it was really cool. So whenever Jesus came up out of the water, the heavens opened up, and God said, this is my son, who I am pleased, or something like that. And I made the point of saying, he wasn't just talking about Jesus, y'all. He was talking about you. When you go to make that decision to get saved and then baptized, when you come up out of that water, he's saying, this is my child. Like, I'm proud of you right now. This is the craziest. Like, this is like what was I sent another TikTok to you. It was kind of like that. It was what was it? Oh, it was about relationships. It was how people it said, let's say I didn't have a place to sleep. And I went to this huge mansion, like I'm in a rich neighborhood. I went to this mansion, I knocked on the door, and I go, hey, I know you don't know me, but I'm a great person. Would I be able to spend the night? And they slammed the door in my face, and they're like, well, no, I don't know you. You're not staying in my house. Are you kidding? But then you flip the situation around. Let's say Harris here had the biggest house, and I didn't have a place to sleep. And I go, hey, Harris, I don't really have a place to sleep tonight. I'm not in a good space right now. Is there any way I can stay at your house? And then he goes,
no.
Well, no. He goes, well, yeah, of course. You're my best friend. Why would I not let you sleep in my house? Why would I let you sleep on the dirt? And it said, well, a lot of people treat God like the first scenario of,
they just want to shut the door.
I'm great, man.
They don't want to admit they're bad.
I'm a good person, all of this stuff. Can I come in to your kingdom? And it's like, well, no, you don't have a relationship with me.
Yeah.
But then if you get close to God, like how me and Harris are close, but like closer times 10, then he'll be like, well, of course, man, why would I let you sleep on the dirt?
Yeah.
Why would I let you sleep on the dirt?
God's a nice man.
Yeah. I just really liked that story. I feel like there's a lot of hard-hitting stories out there on TikTok. Like I said, you just have to figure out a way to filter it through, because there's a lot of bad and a little good. And when you get the little good, it hits.
It's really good.
It hits different. It's the little good is a lot more good than you would think, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
It can make all the bad seem a little bad.
Yeah. All of that bad stuff, and then just a little bit of good. But there's so many good points that all these people make. If you'd like to go check them out, they're amazing. Like I said, Bryce Crawford, he's climbing the ladder himself. Like, he's doing great right now. I really like the way he talks about all of his experiences and just the personal connection that he makes with his audience. I really like that about Cliff too, how he's just like, he can disrespect somebody in the most respectful way. I know that sounds bad, disrespect somebody, but I feel like it's like more of not agreeing.
Yeah.
Because of how respectful he is about it.
And he
like,
turns it to like, here's what.
He turns it into like, well, I know you say you need proof. Here it is. It's like, it's kind of a crazy thing. And then George Janko as well. He was brought up kind of the same time as Logan Paul. Logan Paul helped make him, and then he has just shared the gospel. He said he's basically like a preacher when it comes to that. Well, he didn't say it. One of his friends said it, and he tried to deny it, but I don't deny it. I don't deny it. If you do something like this, you're some kind of missionary or something. You gotta be. But he said he's not ashamed, because he has always been jealous of the disciples, and he's like, look how lucky they were. They get to have a conversation face to face with Jesus. And then somebody went on to ask him what he would ask. Like, what would you ask? That's pretty crazy. It's hard to narrow that down. It's hard to narrow that down.
Let me
face to face.
Let me hear your. What would you ask?
If I was face to face with Jesus, I don't know. I feel like it would be, probably like, how hard was it to hold back your rage in certain situations. Because, like, when he was drug up to the cross, you know, like, it said that he felt things, like, that he didn't want.
I mean, because he was human.
Because he was human. But then, at the same time, he went up there and he sacrificed it all for us.
Because he's a living God.
So I think it would be something around the lines of that. I don't really know how I would word it specifically, but it'd be like, how hard was it to hold back that rage or that fear? You know, he had to feel some, like, bit of something, like, where it was like, hey, I don't want to do this.
Like, I don't want to die. Because, I mean, you gotta think, like, I mean, he was 100% man and 100% loving God. So, if you're 100% man, but 100% loving at the same time, there's going to be fear, but there's also going to be like, I'm doing this for the right reason.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just like overdid the man part, basically, and just like was the loving God that he is so much to like such an extent, that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, how did like, you know how like our human thoughts now override like all the good things we can possibly do that we like sometimes don't? Like, how did that not happen to him?
Well, yeah.
That's just like mind-blowing.
Do you know what your question would be? It's a hard thing to think about.
I don't know, man.
I think I would just be weeping. I don't think I'd be able to say. I would like, you know how people, like, some people freak out about meeting like famous people. Like, I feel like I would just be weeping. I wouldn't be able to say anything. Like, if I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to speak to ask him a question. I know that sounds crazy. But.
I saw a video and it was like, when you get to heaven, what kind of hugger are you gonna be? Like, what kind of hugger are you gonna be? Like, are you gonna be the one that like tries to get there first? Or are you gonna be the one that's just like crying at his feet? Or are you gonna be like the one that just like
I'm hugging his waist? I know that sounds weird.
I'm hugging him all over. I'll tell you that.
Like a big.
He saved me from a lot.
He did. It's crazy. Don't really know if we want to hit any more points. We're about at the 30-minute mark.
We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Why do you...
I'm not good at math. I mean, I can talk on a podcast. I can't do math.
Yeah. I don't really know if there's any more points we want to hit, but like we said, if you have anything that you want us specifically to talk about,
let's bring back what is one good thing that you've seen, like, since the last podcast, or like
yes, I forgot that we did that. That's so good. One good thing, and then what was the other cool thing that we used to do? It was one good thing that you've seen.
I don't know.
It's a way that you've seen God work through this week.
I've seen God work, I mean, every day, so.
Yeah.
But the one, I feel like people are like getting closer.
Yeah.
I feel like people are getting closer. And like, I feel like prayer is so important and people are starting to realize that.
Yeah.
So that's my one good thing that I've seen him start to change and start doing, like, that's turning good is change.
I kind of said mine a little bit of the shifting of the TikTok of how crazy it was, but also it's just a shift in, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like the way you act, the way you feel. It's like, how does one thing change so much? Like one little thing could happen and it's like, well, I'm not doing that. And then it's like, well, now that I have this free time, now that I'm not working all these days,
we're back.
Now I feel completely, like, I added widgets to my, like, there's 2 different apps. You can add a widget for the Bible app and it'll show you your daily verse on your home screen. And then there's another app, I forgot what it's called, and it'll show you a different verse than what the Bible app shows you. So I have one here, and it's 2 different verses. And I don't know. It's just like, I want to be in the presence of him always. It's like, if me and this man Harris don't leave each other's sides, then why should I leave God's? Because he's not leaving mine. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's not like letting go of his end of the deal, so why let go of mine? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I felt this week, like a way he's worked. It's just like basically a whisper yell. They used to tell us, I forgot what teacher it was, there's a difference between hearing and listening. You can hear something, but are you listening to it? So like that whole time in the summer, God could have been like, hey man, don't leave my side. Hey man, don't leave my side. And you could be that kid at the table at dinner just looking at his phone, not listening to his parents. Or you could listen. And then I finally listened, and it was like, it changed my whole perspective. And that's when my TikTok started changing. That's when we started talking about more of this. I don't know. So you gotta listen, not hear.
Yep. All good things.
It's definitely harder to listen sometimes, but
yes,
it helps a whole lot. And hold up your end of the deal. I feel like I've been reminded of that lately. That was another thing that I said in my own talk, and I don't do a great job about it. But it's, nobody's perfect. It's hard to do. I'm not making excuses or anything, but it really hit me hard when I was just like, you know, all of this stuff is on my TikTok. I'm learning these things about putting it on my home screen, but for some reason I keep leaving his side. I'm not focused on him 24/7. I need to be focused on him 24/7, but then it, like, I don't know. So I'm trying to do a better job of not leaving his side because he's not leaving mine. But I think that's pretty much it.
You want to close us out in prayer?
I was fixing to ask you the same thing, buddy. I was going to ask you the same thing. Just bear with me, because
he always makes me pray. So.
I always do. Make him close because I always do the intro. Bear with me because I haven't quite got used to praying out loud.
Do me do it.
Do
it.
You want to?
I mean, I will if you want me to.
It doesn't matter. I can do it, but
if you
want to do it?
I mean, I can.
We're having a whole argument right now. Just do it, man.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings you've given us today. Thank you for just sacrificing your own self for us. Even though we're so full of hate, we could never repay what you did for us. And thank you for just doing everything you do. Thank you for just giving us, each other, and all the friends that we have. May we bless you in every way, dear God. Amen.
Amen.
Peace.
Love you guys. Like we said, if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you have any other content that's Christian related that you would like us to do, you can put that in the email that's going to be in the link in the description. The comments will be turned off just because we don't want people to be too judgy about other people's business, if that makes any sense. But we'll see you guys next time. We'll try to get one of these out every week. Peace out.